Oh boy, I tell you what, this stuff, I'm not sure if this stuff happens to y'all, but it definitely happens to me, which is a good thing. It's not a bad thing, people. It's not a bad thing at all. How's everybody doing this afternoon? Always something special happening in the United States. Okay, there we go. Sorry, folks. Got to go for a little walk today. I can't do what I need to do too far from the Wi-Fi. So, walk up here, hang out on the deck and talk to y'all for a minute. So it's crazy, right? I have some of the craziest situations. But it's not a bad thing. So, how's everybody doing tonight? Can y'all hear me? I always got to do a sound check. I don't ever know if this thing it's kind of dark out here. It's getting cold too. It's Pennsylvania. It's supposed to be like 80 degrees or 90 degrees or something next week, so it's kind of crazy. So check this out. Oh boy. I was talking to a gentleman and a young lady, and I didn't know him from pain. I'm always talking to people. I love to talk to people. And struck up a conversation. Okay, thank you, Wendy. Thank you so much. And I don't remember. We were just talking about a bunch of different stuff. It kind of bounced around, politics and unity, and how people got to come back together and quit with all the personal attacks on the president and grow the hell up. And they did it to Obama, so they're doing it to him. And we should be learning our lessons about making everything personal instead of just talking about what we need to do as a people, as a human people. And of course the conversation kind of drifted, and we landed in Charlottesville land. And my perspectives on that, most of y'all know. So I don't really. It's not that I don't care about what happened. My main concern is that we prevent it from happening again. Like, I let other people talk about what they think happened and why they think it happened, and let other people, play neuroscientist and who was worse and who was bad. I don't care nothing about that. What I care about is the violent people who showed up, no matter what side they're on. They don't raise other kids. And so we were kind of talking about it. And I was telling him about the interview with the man who organized the protest of the protest. And I said, I think I said, because he introduced himself in the interview as a white nationalist, right? And I said, well, the guy introduced himself as that, and the Nazis showed up. He didn't, necessarily invite them, but they showed up. And he stopped me. He said, no, that's not true. He said they're white supremacists. I said, whoa, that's not meeting with my information. that's not meeting with my research into that. My understanding, in the interview, this is what he said, is he is a white nationalist. They believe pre-1930 race percentages, and they want to lock down immigration, whatever to that. And he hit me with some stuff I wasn't ready for. He said something about, and some of y'all might know about this. Hey, Diane. He said no, because under the socialist breakdown of the white supremacists is social something. They fall under the order of the white supremacy. I was like, how you know that? I was, every now and then somebody will say something. You knew a little too much information on that. How did you know? That's deep. Like, you read a book or something. And he came right out and said it. He's like, I used to be a white supremacist. I was like, oh, nice to meet you too. I had so much fun all day long. And I guess it was his girlfriend. I don't know if it was his wife, or I think it was his girlfriend. And she kind of kept looking at him. And she was like, yeah, I wanted to tell you or something. And I was like, you know what? I was like, brother, I don't care about none of that. Like, number one, it's in your past. And number two, I understand where that comes from, right? You can correct me if I'm wrong. I said it comes from being raised in a scarcity environment. And eventually, one day, somebody telling you who to blame for the life that you grew up in. And you believe them. And he said, that's not too far from the truth. I said, all right. I said, what's the same thing in the ghetto? Right? Trailer park in the ghetto works the same way. Kids grow up there. They grow up with a lot of anger. They don't have what they need. And somebody comes along and says, this is who you blame for it. And they blame that person. And usually they end up interfacing with the police and other people because of someone who told them who to blame and what they got to do to get theirs, right? And so, and a lot of that comes from some probably gangs and just really stupid adults possibly. And so we ended up having this conversation. We just talking. He's talking about, yeah, I used to organize marches and blah, 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 blah. And I was in this order of the thing, and dot, dot, dot. I could have swore I heard Klan in there somewhere. But I told me, I don't care about that. I said, I have friends that are on the extreme right. Like, I get it. Like, we live in a really jacked up, sick society. And after that, we talked for about an hour. I tried to pull him on here. I couldn't get him. I wanted to pull him on here, and I wanted to just interview him, right? Because, he said he doesn't believe those things anymore. And believe it or not, he said Alex Jones pulled him out of his belief system. So all of you, it's not really me. Nah, I'm not put myself there because I think Alex is entertaining. I don't watch him anymore because he pushed the limits a little too far for me, and in terms of picking a team. But he said that just watching the Alex show changed him, and he doesn't believe in supremacy anymore, right? So he left the group, canceled his membership. I don't know if he turned in a robe with some flags or something, but but the whole point was we had a good conversation, and we talked about the presidency and kind of try to show a little bit of respect for the office, and and he admitted, and he was just right, that I voted for Trump, but the reality is he's doing roughly what Obama did, and and it's all about siphoning of wealth. He got it. It's all about getting two sides to fight, and they're siphoning the wealth. He said, we got Trump in, and he did a lot of what we wanted. We in meaning a voter, not we in terms of any sort of white supremacist group, but we in terms of a voter. He did a lot of what we wanted. He did it really quickly, but then he stopped. And it was obvious that somebody got to him, right? And then my belief system is the same thing. The president gets into office. He thinks he's going to change the world. He thinks that one man can reroute trillions of dollars. And an initiative to take over and build an empire all over the world, bombing everybody and taking their resources, and that's not going to happen. And so it was a good conversation, to be honest with you. We agreed, we got down. I told him I recognize him as family. We're just one human family. He slipped a brother in the conversation. I felt pretty good. And and it wrapped up. He shook my hand, he went his way and I went my way. But it was this basic understanding of we're one pack, right? We are one pack, whether you call it a lion pack, a wolf pack, a silly, ignorant pack that's fighting amongst itself. And we got the monster at the door. And either y'all going to grow up, you're going to go out and increase the size of our pack strength, because you're not always going to be here, right? You're not always going to be here. Your kids are going to be here. Your nieces and your nephews, and they're going to be here. And do you want a bigger pack watching them? Or do you want half of a pack of a partial pack put together by people because of some race and some religions and some lies and some politics. We got to increase the size of the pack, people. So I'm not sure what I said to this gentleman that kind of really made him kind of come out. You know, maybe he realized he said a little too much. And I realized, you know, a little too much about the social breakdown. He hit me. I didn't understand what he was saying, but it was something about the socialist, social supremacy of anyway. So maybe he just thought the jig was up and he just confessed to it. But I appreciated that and I respected that. And we had a great conversation out of that. And I hope, if anything, my greatest hope is that he walks away and says, damn, you know, my beliefs were a little wrong. My beliefs, you know, that was a good guy I talked to, right? You know, and even his girlfriend or his wife, she was kind of talking about how everybody's so angry. Everybody, you can't even have, what was the word she said? You can't even have, I forgot the word she used, but it was just basically something to the effect of an intellectual debate. You can't talk like an intellectual anymore because everybody's just talking so ignorant, you know, with personal attacks and yelling and screaming. So they really don't talk to folks anymore. And it's the same thing I say about talking to police and your others, whoever you think your others are. You never know when having a conversation with somebody can make a difference. There are a lot of people that step away from these groups. There are a lot of people that step away from hate. There's a lot of people that step away from political parties and political party hate because this is on both sides. And we have to bring the hate down and we have to solidify relationships with the people who are sliding towards the middle of common sense, right? So, hey, Trinity, Brother Dale. So it was a good conversation and we shook hands and he shook my hand, y'all. He didn't look at the skin. He didn't look at the hand like, I don't know. No, he's going to rub off. No, if you make people feel like they're family, people will act like their family. If you make people feel like they're your enemy, they will act like your enemy. And they will treat your kids like they're their enemy. And there are a lot of people who are in the closet. They got to come out. I was talking to one of my brothers I love on the thread just now. He in the closet. He need to come out, realize who his family is. His family ain't them Democrats. You need to come on out, brother. Now, I'm gonna pull you kicking and screaming because I'm not gonna let you go. I don't turn my back on nobody I love. And sometimes you have to hit people with the truth before they really swallow it. And that's what I'm about. You love people back to the center. That's how you get them back to the center. When you yelling and screaming and calling them racist and making up names. And I saw something the other day. My kid showed me, one of my sons. I'm not going to tell you the parking lot I was in. I was in a store shop and I'm not supposed to be in. I'm about sustainability, y'all. Sustainability. But there was something I had to go to this store. I'm not going to tell you the name of it, but I was in the parking lot, big parking lot. And my son said, Dad, look. I looked at the hood of the car. I took a picture of it. I have to post it. And it was a swastika. And it looks like somebody scratched into the hood of the car a swastika. You know, something you wouldn't do to your own car. Something somebody else did. Somebody just in ignorant land. And if we don't teach the kids what respect are, if we don't act like we got common decency, if we don't act like we got love in our heart, but we saw our parents with that, what do you think the next generation is going to do? Like, think about that for a second. I know you get a lot of internet credit being a comment thug. I know you get a lot of internet credit or party credit, yelling and screaming and fussing at people and cussing and carrying on. But the kids that they're raising are watching them too. And when you act like an ignorant fool, I'm not calling anybody, I don't have no ignorant fools. I haven't had to block anybody yet. Everybody is above board. But the other stuff I see out there, when you act like an ignorant fool and the other people respond and they escalate and they escalate and they escalate, It's your kids that got to live with their kids. It's your kids that's got to grow up with their kids. And yeah, Emma, I know Bill, he talks about it all the time. And I really would love to see more people coming out talking about some common damn sense. Haven't we spent enough time as adults acting like children? Like, when is enough enough? When are we going to start to de-escalate? So anyway, I appreciated the good conversation with this ex-white supremacist is how he identified himself. And he got my point about the other side and how they were raised with that hate too. And he related to it. We got to grow the pack. Yes, we got to bring back common decency, respect. Doesn't matter if somebody disrespects you. Doesn't matter if someone disrespects you. Act like you got respect. Act like you got love. Because you know what? Somebody said the other day, it doesn't matter. I mean, you never know what somebody else is going through. You never know if they had a bad day and it's just something's bubbling up in them. You never know if their mother just died. You never know if their brother just got in a car accident. You never know why they're high strung, right? We're supposed to be there for each other. Doesn't matter what race you are, and it doesn't matter what class you are, and it doesn't matter. None of that matters. Guess what? You're a human being. You put your pants on one leg at a time. You bleed red. You came into this world the same way you're going to go out the world, and we're all going to look the same. So we got to level up, y'all. We got to go back to being adults. And I guess I'm just trying to share. I'm trying to share my experience from today, because you never know when you might actually change somebody, or you might actually lock in somebody's belief that we do have to come back and be one pack, and we do have to look out for each other's kids. And it does take a whole nation to raise a whole nation of children. And that's why I care, man. That's why I'm going to tell you the reason why I care. And I'm going to let y'all go, because the sun is going down. Damn it, I might disappear. Y'all. There'll be some talking teeth on because you won't see. I got to put the sky in the background, because I'm not light-skinned. No, I am not. I am. They hated me as a kid. The light-skinned black people used to come for us back in the 80s. Anyway, let me stop. Why does it matter to me? It matters to me because when my first son was born, it changes you. There's something about kids. Like, there's just something. I can't tell you what it is. But looking down at him, and he was so little, right? And I had these big old hands, right? He's so little, and I almost could fit him, in one hand. And I'm just holding this little thing, this little fragile thing. And the world, everything that it learns and everything that it gets taught is going to come from me and its mother. This thing was so defenseless, and it was so needy of everything. That was a day my whole life changed. That was a definitive moment when I realized that I'm not living for me. Right? This ain't about me. None of this is about me. Everything I do is about this little kid, right? This baby. And that's kind of evolved for me, in that the world that my kids live in are the world that I help construct. And what I'm going to ask you today, I'm going to let you go. Please spend time thinking about the world you want to leave for your kids. Do you really want to leave chaos? Do you really want to leave all this anger and all this hate? Or do you want to leave a world where, when we say this thing that we as parents like to say, we'll do anything for our kids? Did you really mean that? Or were you just talking, right? When I said that, I really meant that. And I really feel that. And that's why that little precious, he was a light-skinned baby, y'all. His mama kind of bright. That's okay. It's good. It's all good. It's all. So, a little light-skinned baby. He darkened up a little later, but a little light-skinned baby. And it could have been a white baby. It could have been an Asian baby. It could have been an Indian. It doesn't matter. It doesn't even have to be my baby. The world that they inherit is a world based on the wisdom or complete lack of it, the maturity or the complete lack of it in the adults that came before it. So, I want y'all to have a good night. I have to go get me some food. I'm going to get me some coffee. I'm going to be back later on. For any of y'all that don't like, if anybody that wants to talk about sustainability, I'm going to be on a little later with Claudia. We're actually going to try to put together a show just talking about sustainability and solutions and helping people to live more green, natural lives. And so there'll be a whole bunch of different topics. So we're going to do that tonight at 8 Eastern Standard. But for right now, I'm starting to disappear. I would tell you one more thing that I haven't. I always think of stuff because right around that time I was holding that little baby, my little baby James. That's my baby. I was holding him, and right around that time I was still learning to be a dad, right? You know, and I didn't know when you change his diaper. He ain't gonna like this story. When you change his diaper, when that cold air hits that ding-a-ling. And it has urine, it will fire. Like it's got a trigger. And when the cold air, so I took the diaper off, cold air hit it. It was the first time I was changing them. And it was like the Matrix. I saw this line of urine just come up real slow, just like it. I was like, oh my God. I ducked out the way like this and it went down. It was like the Matrix. The boy tried to pee on me. But anyway, I love him anyway. That's my dog. That's my baby. And I'm going to do everything. He ain't a baby no more. He big, got a mouth, deep voice, and a mustache. But I'm going to do everything I can to level up and bring down some of the hate that's in this world, because that's what I'm supposed to do. And I think if you really think about it, whether you got kids or not, that's what you're supposed to do too. We are a lion pack, and all the cubs are our responsibility. Moms and dads got to go hunting sometimes. They die sometimes, and the rest of the pack got to raise the cubs. And that's why we need a bigger pack. And we need our pack members to stop fighting amongst themselves. And those of y'all who are still working too close with the parties and you're trying to tell the hyenas where the cubs are, y'all need to pull up. Y'all need to pull up. Some of y'all bringing the hyenas into the pack area and showing them where the cubs is at, because you don't think those are your cubs and you're okay taking from them cubs. There's not gonna come that time because y'all gonna pull up. So we are on the same team. Y'all have a good night. For those of y'all I don't see later, love y'all.